Alright, hello my little bunny friends and welcome back to Higurashi no Naku Koro Ni. So I know I probably say this every single time, but I think we are finally done with the Takano backstory. So yay! And the reason I say that is because we literally got like a opening song and like a declaration of war between Takano and Hanyu. So yeah, so without further ado, since these chapters can be pretty long and I tend to like to have all of them in the same one, let's continue. Hopefully you don't have a sound problem. Welcome. Oh. I was gonna be like, who's talking? Oh. Welcome to the world of Higurashi Chapter 8, Matsuribayashi. In this world, you will be able to recreate the story from Hanyu's point of view. Okay. A dead Takano! Not just a dead Takano, a butchered Takano. Your objective is to create the June 1983 ideal to you. This is different. You will need to collect many different fragments to make that possible. However, Takano's conviction is very strong. Fuck her. To overturn it, you will need a lot of effort and a lot of fragments. I'll warn you right now, it'll be a slow and painful... Don't tell me that! Oh my gosh. Hanyu went through it for over 100 years and she even had to stop and give in to fate. So Hanyu did know that it was Takano the whole time. She just gave up. So that's why she didn't tell Rika. Even though Rika's been living for 100 years as well, hasn't she? Defeating Takano's conviction will not be easy. The trial in this world will put you through as much pain as Hanyu had to endure. I don't know, game, novel, you already put me through a lot of pain by making me listen to that political bullshit, okay? So I think I would prefer, okay. Dude, I have gotten this far, so clearly I haven't surrendered. Also, I am the most stubborn person in the planet. You tell me you may surrender, and my exact opposite. I think the exact opposite thing. Bring it on, bitch! You may surrender just like Hanyu did after being emotionally worn down by the constant repetition of the worlds woven by countless fragments. When you feel like surrendering, never gonna happen. You can end this game at any time. Never gonna happen! But if you do, the worlds revolving around your friend's fate will be limited to Onikakushi through Minagoroshi. Here's the problem, though. Here's the probs. Is Takano has like a fucking army and like snipers. Okay? Like, I realistically cannot see a way to beat her. I mean, unless you like poison her and just kill her. But even then she has like the watchdogs around her, so you would have to like poison her. But even then, would that stop it, or would they continue on with the orders even if she's dead? Like, she has a fucking army versus like children. I mean, granted, if the entire village of Hinamizawa like got together, but I don't know how you would get that. I mean, they kind of did for the I'm trying to remember. You remember the Satoko chapter? The one where the one right before, I think it was the one right before this one, when it was from Rika's point of view and Keiichi sort of remembered things and they were fighting for Satoko and then everybody died in the end. That one, the village came together. By forgetting about this world and uninstalling... Fuck you, Gabe! I got through 5 Nights at Freddy's. Don't even push me! And uninstalling this product, you will finally accept death. Just like Rika. Rika didn't accept it. Well... 50 fragments? To connect these fragments together, you will need the right ones. There are 50 of them. Yeah, that's a lot. However, this world isn't that merciless. I don't know. You literally just told me if you want to surrender and uninstall this product. To ease your pain, there will be a little help for you. When you choose the wrong pieces, your only ally here will give you a sign that it's not time yet to put those fragments together. I'm so confused. Are we actually going to have to do something? Because so far this has just been a novel and we've had no choices. As long as the sign remains, you won't be able to connect them. You might as well go look for different ones. After you put other fragments together, you might be able to connect the ones you couldn't put together earlier. Is it going to be like a puzzle? When that happens, she'll let you know. Let's put those fragments together. Then you'll be able to join the other ones too. When you connect all 50, they become one big fragment. There you'll find your ideal June 1983. That's when the long-awaited Matsuribayashi will begin. Before you peek... It is like a puzzle. Okay, is it going to be like a puzzle at each fragment? Why don't you line up all 50 of them in the first? Most of them require other fragments, so there are only a few you can actually look at. Let's try to find those ones first. To see the conditions... Wow, okay. Interesting. This is like an actual game. Let's find the ones you can look at without any conditions. This will be an extremely long and difficult trial. Stop with this bullshit! Extremely long and difficult trial. Shut up. It's like this game wants me to surrender. Oh my god, it is! It does! Oh! Reverse psychology! Let me tell you again. Han, you challenged this for over 100 years and gave up on it. If you believe in miracles in the same way your friends do. Even if you don't live in the world they live in, if you believe in them. Don't really though, because like I said, Takano has an army, but okay. Welcome. Welcome to the world. Wait, what? Oh, I thought it was gonna redo it. In this world to be tested to see if you believe in the world that Rika and the others believed in. A miracle only happens when everyone combines their strength. The June 1983, created by Takano, is nearly indomitable. She's gathered many people. Exactly. Her backers are like the army and bullshit, and we have like high school children and younger than high school children. Even if 100 dice all rolled ones, there wouldn't even be a chance to defeat her. In other words, a miracle is the only way forward. A miracle only happens when everyone combines their strength. And you are one of them. Okay, are you ready? I'm more than ready. The key to a long journey is to not pressure yourself too hard. Well, let's take it at a light pace. I'll work while drinking my usual wine. Who is talking? That they're drinking wine. I don't have wine. I have water. Shall we begin? Would you stop saying that? Let me begin. You literally just repeated the same thing in 2 different ways. It's like you just took out a thesaurus and said, oh, shall we begin? How do we say that in a different way? Yes, let's begin. I don't have wine. Ooh. This is cool. Okay, give it to me. Show me what we got. Okay, what's this? Satoko Hojo's detailed test result is required. I don't understand what that means. Let's just click on one and see what happens. I'm confused. I don't think I actually know the truth about the Shirakawa Park accident. What the fuck? Group physical exams are very meaningful for our research. Although it's only for certain age groups, we can examine many of the Hinamizawa residents at the same time. It's a perfect cover for our research center. Also, because of several arrangements, we have a monopoly on the villagers' corpses and can perform autopsies on them. There certainly wasn't an environment this rich in opportunity for those in the medical field. Our follow-up on the work of the late Dr. Takano is going smoothly. The amount of data he compiled is absolutely astounding. He truly was an incredible researcher. Excuse me, Director. Oh, Takano-san. Thanks for your work. We just received the rest of the test results from Tokyo. Here they are. Thank you. It's getting interesting, isn't it? I think I had a British voice for him. I can't remember. I'm glad we share this joy. Takano-san is my assistant, who was sent from the Self-Defense Force. But she's far from the image I have of an SDF officer. Just like our research is being concealed, maybe her identity is concealed as well. Yeah, she's a bitch. Although that's probably not concealed. Sorry. I'm sorry. If I'm laughing at myself, then it's fine. I'm sure her name is an alias as well. No. I'm just a doctor and a researcher. Without Takano-san's support, it would be impossible for me to manage this institution. She's a pipeline to her clients in Tokyo, my assistant, as well as a researcher who's an expert on Hinamizawa syndrome. Her existence is absolutely necessary here. The more I think about it, the more I feel this should have been the Takano Institute rather than the Irie Institute, and she should have been the director. But that was explained to me when they asked me to take this position. My client wanted a civilian to manage this place. They searched for a person who met their requirements, and there I was. I became the director. I have a feeling I'm just a puppet on their strings. Yes, you are. You even get killed, but I won't just sit here and do nothing. I was asked to research a rare disease. I'm a researcher, so of course I'm excited about that. My client's goals might be different, but I'm out here of the desire to unravel the mysteries of Hinamizawa syndrome and be the first person to uncover a new mystery for mankind. Well, somebody already uncovered the mystery. We have all the data that suggests the existence of a parasite as the cause of the syndrome, yet we still can't find factual evidence of the culprit microbe itself. That's true. I thought we'd find it easily if we used an electron microscope. Viruses are too small to see with a regular microscope. So the invention of the electron microscope was a dramatic advancement in the world of medicine. However, it's very expensive and there's no way for a normal doctor to acquire one. The late Dr. Takano said an electron microscope could find the cause of the disease, but it seems his theory has been proven wrong. Even Takano was hoping an electron microscope would find it. She was disappointed when she didn't uncover anything after all the autopsies she performed. I would absolutely love for it to actually be supernatural. Please, please. And then they're just like looking for some kind of virus, but there's not actually one because it's supernatural. It has actually stalled our work for several weeks now, so we need to think about where we go from here. Which means they're either smaller than microscopic, or maybe there's something wrong with the specimen itself. What do you mean? For example, as you know, wild mice have tons of fleas on them, but you can't find fleas on dead mice. That's because when the mouse dies, their habitat dies as well. So, if the host dies, the parasite's world will end too? That's right. Just like you won't find a living human in a post-apocalyptic world. You don't know that? Therefore, we just have to look into the earth before it ends, right? That's true. However, we need to think about human rights. Oh, she don't give a shit about that. It's hard to look into a brain while the patient is still alive. Examining a living human's brain. No matter how you sugarcoated it, the bore would get very grave meaning. From a medical standpoint, it's necessary, but we have rules and morals in this world, and we have to advance medicine within such boundaries. There was a time when I was studying lobotomies for the betterment of mankind. I don't think I was wrong. However, could I ever be forgiven under our ideas of ethics? I don't know. One day my judgment will be handed down by the devil. Whether I'm guilty or not, I have to accept it. As I reflected upon my past, I heard a voice. It was Takano's. It was very clear and simple, yet it struck me with surprise. Understood. Let me prepare a world on the verge of death. What? I'm startled. Sometimes the phrase advancing medicine bore the whisper of the devil, tempting us to accept sacrifices. I heard that devil whisper. It's not that difficult. I just have to find a Hinamizawa resident who is about to die. That's all. But even if they're about to die, who would be brave enough to provide their body for research while still alive? I see. Don't worry about that. If they're dying anyways, we're just going to put them to sleep a little sooner. On paper, of course. Oh, God. Oh. God. See, and this is why I have no sympathy for this bitch. Okay? So you guys can get up all of me in the comments about me complaining about not giving a shit about her backstory, but this is what I don't care. The patient would be legally declared dead even though they're still alive, and we'd perform an autopsy while they're still alive. That's impossible. Besides, if we perform neurological surgery, we have to do a circular incision on the cranial area. The family will notice the marks for sure. That's where we come in. I'll have the mountain dogs look for a patient in the local hospital that matches our needs immediately. All you have to do is wait with a knife and a fork in your hands. I'll bring you your meal right away. Understood. You know what, Irie? I actually didn't mind you. Now I think you're an asshole. Not as bad as Takano, but also an asshole. Miya Takano-san's my partner. There's no question about that. But I just can't trust her. It's her extremities as a research which contrast largely with mine. But are we so different? I'm here simply waiting with a knife and a fork in my hands, just as she told me to. I just don't want to witness such a gruesome scene, that's all. What she's preparing for me now is exactly what I want. Who's the hypocrite? Not her. It's me. How can I say I'm different knowing what I've done in the past? I perform lobotomies without the patient's consent, despite it being surgery that might affect their life forever. How is that different from what she's doing? I've never doubted my past achievements. However, when I look at her, I start to feel unease. Takano is talking to Okunagi-san on the intercom in my office. I'm sure she's telling him to come over so she can explain to him what was just discussed. I'm simply watching without stopping her. I begin to reflect on my past, to remember why I chose to become a doctor. Was that a fragment? Mm-hmm. I see. Okay, I see. So these are like filling in pieces of things that we haven't had information about. It's a little weird though, not gonna lie. But let's just go in order so maybe it's less confusing. So it'll probably say like Kyosuke Iri. Ah, I see. So this is HI70, which I saw like over here. Yeah. Alright, so let's just go in. Okay, I get it. Sorry for being late. I had an unusually large number of patients today. Thank you for coming, Lieutenant Colonel Irie. Lieutenant Colonel Irie. Tomitake stood up and saluted when he saw Irie come into the room. It's funny seeing him like that with the camera. Alright, stop calling me Lieutenant Colonel. I'm a doctor, I just can't get used to military ranks. Can you call me Director instead? Understood, Director Irie. Tomitake, of course, knew that Irie didn't like to be called Lieutenant Colonel, so it was something of a joke. They laughed casually together. On the other hand, Takano looked rather fed up with it. She couldn't stand hearing the same joke over and over and was thinking about talking to Tomitake about it. She didn't want to hurt his feelings. She doesn't care about people's feelings. Huh? Maybe it's because how Tomitake pronounces it, but she kept hearing Nisa? Risa? Isa? Huh? When she heard it that way, she kept hearing Irie Risa. I don't get that. When Takano told Irie about it, he had a good laugh. That doesn't make any sense. Today was just a simple meet and greet, and tomorrow was the actual meeting. Tomitake had already arrived, but there would be more inspectors from Tokyo at the meeting, waiting to hear about the progress that had been made. Anyway, I heard the whole village is all up in arms about the dam construction project. Okay? You can say that again. The village is such a mess. I participated in the local municipal explanation meeting as an official, but the whole thing was alive with angry shouts and profanities. After the basic Hinamizawa Dam project was announced, the village was consumed with uproar. The government retracted their plans for concessions rather early on. They made their aggressive stance clear. Yeah, we know this. They didn't want the locals to take advantage of them by showing their willingness to compromise. However, that backfired horribly. As they had historical ties to the land, the government's actions only made their bonds stronger. Neither the government nor the locals wanted to back down. People from Hinamizawa are rather hot-tempered, maybe because they're descendants of demons. it's not funny. That wild meeting lasted all night. I feel your pain. Really, it's not funny, Tomatake-san. So what's going on with the dam construction? Are they really going to submerge the village? Tokyo's applying the pressure to the situation too. Things might seem glamorous on the surface, but in truth the supporters behind it are wavering rather hard. I hope their pressure produces results soon. The whole village is buzzing with action from dusk till dawn. I worry the villagers' minds might grow agitated. Sometimes I have to listen to my patients go on and on about their opinions on the dam construction plan. Why do you even listen to them? You're too nice. I have to. I'm a clinic director first, and a research center director second. It's part of my job to listen to them. That's very nice of you. It's admirable. I know the people in Tokyo will call off the plan sooner or later, but the villagers don't. Oh, that's fucked up. So they have to live in fear they might be forced to leave their land where they've lived for generations. Even if they're told to leave, they don't have money, and a lot of them are old. Maybe some wanted an increase in the amount of compensation they'd be offered, but the government changed its mind. I don't think it's possible for them to come to a peaceful agreement at this point. There were actually some villagers who were satisfied with the amount and were willing to leave. However, the Sonozaki family didn't want to change their stance against the issue. They're actually leading the villagers in a fight against the government. There are blaring announcement vans everywhere, and ads and flyers are attached to circulation notices. It's a serious matter for them. I guess I can understand. I hope the construction plan will be called off soon, for their sake. See, okay, he does seem to care about the people. But I still don't like you. Once it's called off, this village will become peaceful again. I know that, of course. Things are moving right along in Tokyo, so please give us a little more time. I've heard a rumor from Tokyo that you're having problems finding a way to pressure the Minister of Construction. Is that true? Oh, I'm not sure, but I've heard myself that they're having a little problem with some of the details. Takano had powerful people supporting her, but they didn't control all of Japan. There were some things they excelled in, but other things that they weren't too good at. Oh, well, that's good. Finding a way to put pressure on to the Minister of Construction fell into the latter. Okay, is that supposed to be a hint? In all seriousness, though, we really won't be facing any requests to leave this area because of the dam, right? Honestly, they should have damned the place. Damned the place. That wasn't intentional, but I loved it. Of course not. I can guarantee that won't happen. It's just taking longer than we thought, that's all, so please continue your research. We were told that if things can't be resolved peacefully, then we may have to use drastic measures. Drastic measures? What do you mean, Tomatake? You don't need to worry about that part, Director. Please let us take care of it. I see. All right. Thank you for your work. It's fine, Director Irie. The dam construction plan will be called off. It's already been decided. As Takano giggled, Tomatake laughed too. However, Irie couldn't understand what was so funny. So he felt left out. Irie only understood the meanings. Oh, wait. I thought that was the Sonozakis, but these assholes were behind it? Oh, wait. Understood the meaning of those drastic measures when he examined a young boy he had never seen in the village before. Okay, so we are like getting a lot of, it is like a big puzzle. We're like getting pieces that we haven't seen in the chapters yet. little pieces, like scattered pieces that we haven't seen in the chapters yet. Okay, so see, now we can play this one because we have the... Okay. I've wanted to become a doctor ever since I was little. Doctors make a lot of money. People look up to doctors. I think those are all the kind of reasons I had. So when I played with my friends, I always acted like a doctor. I cleaned their wounds and applied ice packs when my friends sprained their ankles using what I learned from household medical books. Everyone, including me, believed that I'd be a doctor one day. My family was poor, so they praised me for that goal. They told me that I needed to study a lot to become a doctor, so they borrowed some pseudo-medical books from the local library for me. The rental fees weren't cheap. Rental fees from a library weren't cheap? Okay, wait, this is like the 80s. Well, maybe it wasn't. So I would... Here, now I just like get a book on Kindle for like $1 with a click. Isn't that crazy? Right. My parents would go back to the store to exchange it for a different book, saying they accidentally borrowed a book they already borrowed before. By doing so, my parents borrowed 2 books for the price of 1. Nice! Smart parents. Of course, now I know those books were rather useless, but they were highly motivational just the same. My neighbors called me Dr. Kyosuke-kun, and I was always picked for class health officer at school. Even my teachers helped me with the classes I needed to take to become a doctor. Of course, in reality, becoming a doctor isn't as easy as it might seem. I had to study diligently, and the path was most definitely rough. To become a doctor, one must attend college, yeah. Since my family was poor, I was told I wasn't allowed to go to an expensive private school, so I had to be admitted to a national public university. My grades weren't bad, but the admission rate to the National Public University is very marginal. Especially since I wanted to go to medical school, my chances were even smaller. I studied like crazy. My only driving force was my childhood dream of becoming a doctor. Dream of becoming a doctor and be looked up to by everyone kept me going. Well, I think you veered off that path a little bit, Mr. Kyosuke, because you ended up working with the devil who murders people. And I was admitted. I wasn't at the top of the list, but I finally made it in. I was finally at the starting point of making my childhood dream come true. My parents were thrilled. Neither my father nor mother went to college, so they were proud of their son getting into a public medical school. They invited our relatives over to celebrate. Although it was a public university, tuition wasn't cheap. They still had an extravagant celebration anyway. My father didn't express his emotions much. He always kept a straight face. He rarely voiced his opinion or took initiative on anything. My mother took care of everything, and he showed up last and left without saying a word. He was the typical stern and silent Japanese father of the time. That's why I was surprised to see him shedding tears of joy as I cried along with him. He went around to all my relatives while repeatedly slapping my back, saying how proud and lucky he was to have a son like me. He bragged about my achievements to all who would hear them. The celebration became my farewell party as I was about to leave for Tokyo. My father yelled, "Banzai!" repeatedly at the station as the train pulled away. I was a little embarrassed, but when I could no longer see my father, I could clearly recall the tears pouring down. The days of hellish studying and exams began after that. Some days, I was tempted to just give up and submit myself to the lavish lifestyle of the city. But the letters from my family always encouraged me and gave me the strength to go on. My dream then was to open my own clinic in my hometown so I could contribute to the region. I never even dreamed of getting involved with brain. What? That's the weirdest sentence. I know where it's going, but it's still a weird sentence. One day, I noticed a difference in a letter from my family. The letter said the usual things about how I was at home and how I asked how I was doing. But the postscript was what caught my attention. Your father has become really violent lately. Hey, cat scratching, not the scratching post. Is he from Hinamizawa? I can't remember. Sometimes he turns the house upside down and I don't know what to do. I just couldn't picture him acting viciously. I was extremely surprised. Did something happen? But in the postscript, my mother said that there was nothing she could think of. My mother and father had been together for a long time. They'd been together since well, obviously. I'm sorry. So she noticed things I couldn't. She couldn't even think of a reason why my father had become so violent. What happened? They got along so well. They were such a lovely couple. When I caused a problem for my mother when I was little, my father only bonked my head with his knuckle. Why was he acting this way towards my mother? Maybe there was some kind of misunderstanding between them? I was going home for the new year. Maybe I could have a good talk with him then. But the situation was a lot more serious than I thought. On one cold winter day, I found my apartment door unlocked. I thought someone had broke in, but I found my mother in my apartment with her luggage. That's right. My mother could no longer take my father's fury and came to stay with me. This was back when people still believed in the proverb, a woman has no place to settle down all her life. She couldn't go back to her own family because they lived in the same region as my father, so she came all the way to Tokyo. I heard about my father's violence from my mother's own lips. She cried, saying she had no idea why such a quiet man changed like that. She said she wasn't ever going back to him. I didn't know what to do. I asked her if she could talk to him one more time, but the bruises on her body told me it was no use. To remember what happened afterwards is too much, so I'll be brief. I wish the rest of the game would be brief. I'm sorry. Oh, you know what I mean. After my mother left, my father thought she was having an affair and went over to the neighbor's house with a wooden sword. He was arrested. Well, at least it was wooden. He was released immediately, but he assumed someone in the neighborhood was hiding her, so he did the same thing repeatedly. He eventually reached the point of getting into fights with anyone he saw. In the end, he picked a fight with some young punks and ended up being beaten to death. My relatives gave my father a decent funeral, but my mother didn't attend. No use beating a dead horse. So nobody said anything negative about my father, but everyone was simply puzzled as to why he changed so much. What I heard from my relatives about my father's final days was a lot stranger than what I heard from my mother. My mother only told me about his sudden rage and violence. But my relatives told me he also laughed and grew sad. Apparently, he displayed several sudden fluctuations of emotion, especially so in his last years. They also told me that he started to complain about headaches after an accident he had. My father was a construction worker. He had hit his head hard on a construction board during an accident at work. He regained his consciousness quickly and seemed fine, but since the accident, he started to have headaches and behave abnormally. I sensed the connection between the accident and my father's changes, so I talked to my professor after I went back to Tokyo. I can't say for certain, but it sounds like your father suffered some kind of brain damage. There's a chance the blow to his head caused an organic mental disorder. The symptoms your father showed in his final years are similar to the delirium and mental fluctuations we often see in similar patients. Yep. Human behavior is created by the brain, and if the brain is damaged, it can cause erratic behavior or mental illnesses. Thank you very much, people who say that mental illnesses are your own fault, assholes. In other words, my father wasn't crazy, he was suffering from a disorder. If you can perform an autopsy on him, you should be able to check his brain carefully. Maybe you'll find something like a tumor there. My father had already been cremated. There was no way of knowing. But hearing about his behavior, I knew for sure. That was the only way to explain why such a quiet and gentle man would change. I tried to explain all this to my relatives to regain my father's honor, but hardly anyone understood. If his brain was damaged, he would have been dead. But he was alive and well. But the accident didn't damage his brain. It wasn't his brain that caused him to change, it was his mind. They simply brushed it off like that. This is the perception most people have about the brain. This reminds me of a song from Young Frankenstein. The brain! There is nothing like the brain! There's nothing in the universe compared to the brain. That's about all I can remember. Alright. They don't realize the mind and the brain are connected. Most of the relatives didn't believe me. But there was one person who I really wanted to anyways. That was my mother. Yeah. As she got older, she grew senile, and she exaggerated the abuse she had to endure. All she did was criticize my father, and every time she ended up crying, lamenting that she married him. They were a lovely couple. We were a great family. That's why I wanted to convey to her that she was misunderstanding the situation with my father. My father's behavior was caused by his brain damage. What he did to her was very sad, but he didn't want to be that way. I told her that he wasn't at fault. But my mother didn't understand. Before she took her last breath, I begged her to forgive my father. But her final words were, "Please don't bury me next to that man." My father wasn't at fault. You know, I relate to this actually quite a lot, and so I'm like feeling tears. Just because when you have like a mental disorder, yes, it is part, you know, your environment growing up in trauma and stuff, but it also is your brain not getting enough of the chemicals that it requires. So it's like kind of hitting, you know, that thing, you know, just kind of hitting home a little bit. I mean, I don't have like a brain, like tumor or whatever, but I can't imagine what kind of person I would be if I suddenly had the chemicals and didn't have my mental disorder. And, you know, I'm at a point where I don't lament the fact that I have it. It's part of what makes me an amazing artist because of my ability to, with my emotions and such, and also why I'm so good at recognizing other people's emotions and my own emotions and stuff, and it made me who I am. But, you know, like, I just can't imagine, like, suddenly, like, just something happening where you just completely drastically change. Like, that is so... that's scary. He was simply the victim of a brain disorder. You don't complain to a yeah, I'm relating to this chapter so much. And, oh, God. Yeah, you don't complain to a person who's coughing because he has a cold. When I have panic attacks, when I have, you know, there are moments when you have something really bad happen to you and you just need to take a week to lie in bed and cry and feel miserable. And it'll pass. It'll pass, you know? Like, you know it'll pass. But when you have a mental disorder like that, it's like exactly this. It's like having a cold. But people don't accept, oh, you're sad, so you need to take a week off. No. They don't accept, oh, you had a panic attack, so you need to take the day off. You know, they don't accept that. Even though it is exactly the same. It is exactly the same. And sometimes you need to just lie in bed and cry. And if you don't do that, then you bottle it all inside and then it explodes in probably a really bad way, in a way that you didn't want it to, you know? But unfortunately, we can't say, need to take the day off because my boyfriend broke up with me and I'm having overwhelming emotions. You know what I mean? And for somebody with my mental illness, when something bad happens to me, my emotions are 1000% stronger than that of somebody without my illness. So, like, if, let's say, a boyfriend, I don't have a boyfriend, but when somebody breaks up with me or that happens, it literally feels like I can't breathe, you know? And it's like I can't move and I need to just take a day to cry and sleep. But unfortunately my point is that I have to lie. And I don't like lying. But I've actually developed like a bad kind of like almost pathological lying thing because I have a mental disorder and people don't accept, oh, I have a personality disorder and this caused this and I need a day off. They will accept I have a fever, but there's really no difference. There isn't. Anyway, so I'm relating to this chapter quite a bit. So that's my point. Sorry for the long breakworm. But yeah. Because coughing is just a symptom and he should have been sympathized with. In my father's case, the symptoms weren't as obvious as a cough. They took the form of changes in personality which are much harder to recognize. If I had studied the brain more, I could have explained it better to my mother so she could have understood him. Then they could have been a nice couple again in heaven. I mean, they might be. When I realized that, I cried. And I also realized that there are plenty of people like my father in this world who are suffering from a disorder. Yet they are misunderstood and despised for it. Fuck, yes. And then I found out. Oof. I found out about a miraculous cure for such disorders called a lobotomy. Ever since that day, I spent my days learning about the brain, so I could help people who are suffering from mental illnesses. My father is gone, but if he was still alive, I could cure him myself. I have a lot of feelings about this. So he and my mother could reconcile. That's the main reason why I'm here. Ooh, that was a chapter. You know, it's really interesting to think about it. Like, this is gonna be a little morbid, but like, now I'm at a point where I'm very accepting of myself, like I said before, but you know, there are definitely times in the past when I was just suffering so much that I wanted to die. Where if somebody said, hey, I can take this part of your brain out that's causing the problems, you know what? I may have said yes. I mean, like, in a hypothetical world, you know. I probably wouldn't have said yes because that's terrifying, but you get my point. Like, if somebody said I could miraculously take away, like, the thing that's causing the problem. But that's scary because, like, that makes you, like, a completely different person, you know? Satoshi! Oh my god. I'm looking right now for more EDA stuff because I figure like we're strawberry milk candy. Satoshi Hojo's awareness of his sins. Huh. Interesting. That might be all of the... I'm just seeing if there's any more EDA ones. Okay, there's one. I think that's all that you're the ones that we have right now for EDA. Okay, well let's do we'll do like one or two more. Bus stop. Forcecast said there was a chance of rain in the evening. I'll try to do them in succession so we're not going all over the place, but these are kind of all over the place. So, but I mean like the one I did EDAs and then I did the next one that had to do with EDA. So I'll try to do it like that. So we can like try to keep the characters' fragments together, hopefully. But I didn't think it would rain so hard. We decided to wait at an abandoned bus stop for the rain clouds to clear. I'm sorry, Takano-san. Oh, don't be Judo-san. I knew it would pour, so don't worry about it. Hee hee hee. I'm sorry. Takano-san giggled. Although she said the weather might change suddenly, I dragged her out here. I feel stupid for making her come along and ending up ruining her precious day off. Oh, don't care. She's evil. I have to go back to Tokyo tonight. so it'll be a while before I can return to Hinamizawa. I didn't want to spend my last day at a cheap hotel in Okinomiya, so I asked her to go for a stroll. It's just... I'm really sorry. She teased me for a while, but only a little. She wasn't actually enjoying driving me into a corner. That's just her way of communicating, and I find it very charming. No! No! I don't want to read this! Ugh. But on her part, I'm just an auditor from Tokyo. That's why she's being nice to me, and it's definitely not because she likes me personally. So I feel like I may have used my position to drag her out here, and that makes me a little depressed. At least you know. I probably should think this slight fever I have is due to nothing more than a cold. But she was the type of person who made it clear when she disliked something. She wouldn't say so directly, but she would use all kinds of indirect expressions that meant the same thing. So I want to believe she's out here because she might be even a little bit attracted to me. You don't want her, dude. Doesn't she, like, actually kill him in the last chapter? Yeah, she does. I shook my head as I frowned upon my selfish thoughts. She chuckled as though she knew what I was thinking. I felt myself starting to go red after that. You're a mysterious person, Jio-san. I bet women don't leave you alone, huh? So why are you hanging out with a weirdo like me? A weirdo? No, wait, you're fascinating, Takano. Actually, I feel bad making you spend a day with someone like me. Of course. I've decided to devote my life to my work, but life is too dry with only that. You need to switch gears once in a while. Besides, communicating with the opposite sex is good for the brain. She literally just called you the opposite sex. It's all good if I manage to help clear your head. Don't you feel a bit fresh just being with me? No, I don't want to hear about Tamatake's feelings for the devil. Ugh. She gives me an impish file and blah. Blah. Of course, when I'm with you, I feel refreshed. Besides, if you learn about avian photography, I'll get nobody to share my hobby with. So next time I'll bring my own camera. It's really expensive to buy a new one, you know? Thank you. I would love to learn about the avian photography that you're so intrigued by. I'm looking forward to joining you on a stroll next time you go, so I don't need to buy a camera, do I? No! Try with my old camera first, and if you enjoy it, then you can buy one for yourself. I'll send it to you when I get back to Tokyo. Thank you. Then I'll have you critique my photos when you come next time. Sure! I can hardly wait to see them. They'd be nothing compared to yours. It'd been my very first time doing it, you know. While she keeps her cool and smiles, all I can do is blush and scratch my head. Am I being conceited? I can't help but think that Takano likes being with me. If it's mere flattery, I don't think she'd come along this far. Oh, she would. Oh, no. Taking women's flattery seriously is a mistake I always make. I shouldn't assume that she's attracted to me. By the way, isn't this the first time we've been alone like this? Yeah, you're right. Usually the director or some other research staff is around. She digging. I can't remember correctly, but I'm pretty sure she kills him. Probably quite a bit. I don't know anything about you. I don't know exactly what you do in Tokyo or what you've done in the past. I wonder what you do in the self-defense force. I was an instructor for a while, but I was injured and hurt my eyes, so I can live life normally, but they made a big deal about it, and ever since all I do is desk work. Takano-san giggles, saying I must have done something silly to cause the injury. And while I helped PR with the magazine, I became fascinated by photography. Cameras have the power to make people happy. I bet you don't know what I'm talking about, but it's true. Since I started to take pictures, my life has been a lot happier. How can a camera make someone happy? Well, a camera takes a snapshot of a moment in life. Of course you want to capture a moment that's filled with happiness, right? So you look for happiness through the viewfinder. Oh, that's kind of cute. That's cute. And as you search, you realize your everyday life is actually filled with happiness. Aw. I should do that. Now I want to do that. What happiness can I find in this room? Kitty cats! Kitty cat! Boop. I found some happiness in the form of a cat! For example, a dandelion sprouting from the crack of an asphalt is just a weed in busy life. But when you look at it through the viewfinder, it's a gift to let you know that spring is approaching. Oh, that's so cute. You capture it and put it in an album. And every time you open the album, you remember the happy feeling you had when you took the picture. So you always feel that way when you take your pictures? Sure. I don't have ambitions of taking artistic photos or capturing a dramatic prize-winning moment. That's not important to me. I want those moments we don't notice. And helping us recognize those little moments of happiness is the greatest thing about cameras to me. So I'm really glad to be able to see Hinamizawa through my viewfinder. I have a tendency to go overboard when I talk, but most of the time Takano-san playfully twists my words right back at me. So it's very unusual for her to listen to me like this. Takano-san sat down next to me and tried to fiddle with my camera. I don't know how much of an impression I made, but I think she isn't interested in cameras. I was expecting her to tease me like usual, so I'm happy to see that this is her reaction. Do you want to try? Do you think I can? It's easy. First you need to learn how to focus and press the shutter. Why don't you hold it? Or don't ever touch the lens though. Whew, this isn't easy. Since she seemed to show an interest in cameras, I wanted to take a walk around Hinamizawa and take some pictures of the scenery. But unfortunately, the rain doesn't seem to want to stop. But she was still having fun and kept taking pictures inside the bus stop. So the first set of pictures she ever took were of odd things in that little dark building. Since then, every time we'd meet, we'd walk around the village with cameras in our hands. Whatever! I don't want to listen to Tomatake falling in love with someone who murders him. I'm pretty yeah. I mean, it was cute. The camera thing was cute, but yeah. Wait, is there a Jiro Tomatake one? I'm super curious to get to the Satoshi one because we don't actually know what happened. Huh. I don't see... Okay, these ones are... Okay, I don't see one. Okay, let's do the Satoshi ones. I don't know why I had to listen to that one. Freaking stupid. What's this one, I wonder? When I asked Rika-chan, Satoshi left on a Pokemon adventure. She said Satoko might have possibly gone up to the mountain behind the shrine. She's fond of going there. That mountain is covered with trees, vines, and fallen logs, and she really likes the area. Any child would dream of having a secret base. And to Satoko, her secret base is the whole mountain. However, the mountains were undeveloped territory, making them a dangerous place that was easy to get lost in. As her brother, I'm a little concerned that she spends too much time on it. But maybe I should worry more about myself getting lost since I rarely come here. The mountain gets dark quickly when evening falls. If I still can't find her, I should look for her somewhere else. Satoko! Satoko! I'm yelling as loud as I can, but in the woods my voice doesn't carry that well. According to Rika-chan, she's been making her secret base in this area. She goes up there alone to expand it. What does she mean by expand? If it's a secret base, she must not want anyone to find it. Does that mean she set up some traps? Considering that, I should have noticed the traps in the mountain before one got me. Ah! I knew that was going to happen. Suddenly, my foot sunk into the ground and snagged on something like a jump rope tied behind dried leaves. I heard some noise from up above, and then a big ball made of branches fell right next to me. It had to be one of the playful traps Satoko loved. If I wasn't so lucky, I'm sure the ball would have hit my head. Oh my! Look who's here! It's you, Nini! Satoko! No, this kind of horseplay is dangerous. Did you not see the sign put up by the Forestry Service? It clearly states it's dangerous to come into these woods. My wonderful traps will welcome anyone who ignores that warning. As her brother, I should stop her from doing things like this. But when I see her brilliant smile, I can't say anything else. I haven't seen that smile in some time. By the way, Satoko, weren't you told to come home by evening since we're going out for dinner tonight? I don't want to go. Why don't our mother and father go by themselves? Oh, this is before they're dead. If you want to, you can go with them, Nini. Are you still angry at father? Uh-oh. Oh my god, what? Her dad did? I thought that was just their uncle. He threw an ashtray at me. No, that happened with our previous father. Wait, what? What? Our current one hasn't done that. He locked me out on the veranda. He didn't feed me lunch. He complained I got him the wrong brand of cigarettes, and he slapped my face saying I shouldn't be a picky eater. And then... She isn't talking about our current stepfather. How many freaking stepfathers have you guys had? I didn't even know... Oh, okay. Things about all our different stepfathers have mixed themselves up in her head. Every time how many times has your mother freaking remarried? We had to call a different man our father. The word father isn't a word that should be taken lightly. If you don't truly acknowledge a man as your father, how can you call him that? That's how much weight it carries. However, just to make things smooth and peaceful, I used the word father even if I didn't want to. But it was too difficult for Satoko, young as she was, to do the same. Ever since Satoko was very little, she's been having troubles with our stepfathers. She's never opened up to the current one. To Satoko, a father figure is no longer someone she can trust. It's true that our current stepfather doesn't have any experience being a parent, so he sometimes gets rather upset with her. But ever since the incident where Satoko called the child abuse hotline, our stepfather regretted his mistakes and tried his best to communicate with her. Okay, so this is the one... Okay. Even my mother realized how much Satoko had suffered emotionally when it was pointed out by a social worker. She's doing her part in trying to bring Satoko back into the family. But Satoko completely refuses to even try. It's understandable, though. Her childhood has been filled with misery. Satoko can only open up to me. That's why I have to be the one and only family member she can trust. Otherwise, she'll be all alone in this world. But a brother and sister alone can't be considered a family. Even if we don't get along now, if we can continue to communicate even in a small way, we may be able to become a real family someday. Satoko! Our current stepfather... Oh, sorry, wrong person. Our current stepfather is getting nicer. He says he wants to make up with you. That's news to me. That's because every time he tries to say something, you run away. He wants to talk to you. He says he won't make you eat pumpkin anymore. That's a lie! He said I couldn't leave until I ate my pumpkin, and he tied me to the chair. Again, she isn't talking about our current stepfather. Satoko, just come home with me, okay? Mother got a free dinner coupon, and we don't want it to go to waste, do we? We already have the reservation, so we have to go today. Why don't you go, Nini? I prefer staying home alone. Satoko usually doesn't stay out playing this late. She knows we're going out, and that's why she's out here alone. Although I want to snap at Satoko, I control myself. Because she only has me. I can't scare her. Please, let's go home, Satoko. You don't have to decide to go or not right now. You can think about it after we get there. Besides, without your help, I can't find my way down the mountain. Nini, I brought you here so many times already, and yet you still haven't learned? What am I going to do with you, Nini? Satoko holds out her hand. She often says she's embarrassed to hold my hand in front of people, but she's holding out her hand right now. I took that hand. Satoko's fragile hand. I have to protect her as her big brother. I have to know what happened to him. This game better freaking tell me. Let's go home, Satoko. Sure. You better tell me what happened to Satoshi, game. And if he's not on a Pokemon adventure, then I'm gonna be even madder. Okay. This must be self-introduction. Let's just, I want to do them in order, but I feel like we should just, like... do the ones first. Okay, let's do one more and then we'll call it. Ugh. So the dam construction will bring in new jobs and revitalize the local industry. That's not what we're saying. Who the hell gave you permission to build a dam here? You squeeze tax money from us and this is what we get in return? Random voices, I'm gonna do random shit with them. Who do you think pays your salaries, huh? Look, we're trying to explain to you. We don't want to hear your excuses. We want to know when you'll stop the construction. You're useless. Bring the Minister of Construction here. He'll get to the bottom of it. Shut up, you yuppie. Hey, you're paid with our tax money, so why the hell are you talking down to us from up there? them down here and let's speak face to face! The auditorium is filled with angry shouting and some strange animals. The sign of the entrance says, you know, it's a damn construction explanatory. Every time the official on stage has tried to say anything, the citizens packed into the room silenced him with their shouts. Trying to ignore them, the official continued to explain the pros of the dam. The pros of the dam, you guys all don't all die. Or maybe you do because the supernatural disease tells you. But that just further infuriated them. Between the stage and the citizens, there was an open area where a police squad is standing by. If they weren't there, the citizens would jump onto the stage and start a riot. I'm watching all of this from the back of the auditorium. It's obvious to anyone that they're being swallowed by their anger. They become filled with the bloody red rage. The anger that came from a certain purpose becomes a purpose in itself and creates a vicious cycle where anger leads to more anger. Anger is a necessary emotion for humans. People face many difficulties in their life. Anger gives them the motivation to fight and conquer such difficulties. Therefore, anger is an essential part of life itself. So I will never reject anger itself. However, anger like this that goes far beyond normal makes people forget their purpose. That is no longer an essential part of life. As the blood rushes through their heads, a person can't even remember what they've done. They go out of control. Oh, I like how the screen's getting redder and redder. Such emotions are painful, sad, and difficult to endure. I can clearly see the villagers who live alongside us turning into demons. Oh, interesting. I understand the rules of the human world. The power of an individual can't be compared to the power of the government. Oh. I get where she's going with this. This is like a whole going back to since Takano controls the government, basically. Or has the government on her side. Yeah. To be able to fight, an individual needs to become part of a larger unified power. But to steer that unified power in the right direction is extremely difficult. The cycle of anger leads to more anger. Not anger that helps you live, but anger that only exists for anger. It's just like being a demon. And this emotion is capable of violently rousing us from our long, peaceful slumber. Interesting. Everyone is immersed in their own anger. We lived peacefully with the villagers while we slept quietly. Yet now we've awakened, and it's like the whole world is trying to return to that age when demons were said to rise from Onikafuji Swamp. I keep shouting at everyone to get them to calm down, but my voice can't reach them because of that vicious cycle of anger. Even so, I'll continue shouting, hoping even one of them will hear my voice. Because if I don't do anything, the demons may awaken. The demons that went into a deep sleep may reawaken because of this commotion. Then, all of a sudden, the atmosphere changed. We're still Hanyu. Looking up, I saw that the angry exchange between villagers and those on the podium had devolved into confrontation between the villagers themselves. What's going on?
Shut up! Those are your reasons, not ours. Don't pull us into this, you old hag!
Who the hell cares? The hell you say, you bastard? Hey, hey, hey! We're using Bokuto's hey, hey, hey from Haikyuu. Hey, hey, hey! Do you know who you're talking to? This is all you saw. You got some nerve, huh? Who the hell do you think you are? Shut up! Sonozaki, so what? I'm Hojo. Get your goons away from me. Oh. I see. Hey, Hojo! How dare you say that you want the village to be submerged? How much are they paying you? Shut up, you old geezer! Listen, there are plenty of poor people in Hinamizawa. Not everyone is rich and has fields all over the mountains like you do. I'm satisfied with the compensation from the government that even offered to provide us with public housing. Yet you're ruining everything, you assholes! Don't pretend you're the same as us. If you want to fight the government, why don't you fight by yourself? Then who's gonna pay you? I'm poor and I have 2 kids at home. I was planning to start a new life by leaving here in peace after getting compensation from the government and finding a job elsewhere. But you, since when do you represent me, huh? Do you think you're that important? Hey, hey, hey! I'm sorry. I'm rewatching Haikyuu because season 5 was announced, which I'm excited for because I've read the manga and it legit made me cry. A sports anime manga made me cry. It was so good. Anyways, so I'm rewatching it and I love Bokuto so much. So, hey, hey, hey! Hojo. Sorry. How dare you betray us? Get out! Get out of this village! Sure, I'll be happy to. But you're going to pay for what I'm entitled to, right? You're going to pay me every yen of the compensation I was going to get from the government. Even if I wanted to leave the village, I don't have the money. Interesting. If you're going to pay me, I'll leave straight away. Hojo's right. There are plenty of residents who are willing to leave. You 3 families shouldn't drag us into this. Interesting. There are more than just the Hojos. The hell is this? Who just spoke? Come on, who was it? If you want to stay, then stay. We have the right to leave, so don't interfere. That's right. Back the hell off, you damn Sonozaki. This is just funny to me. You heck. I love audio being yelled at. Oh god. Of course we'll compensate the people who support the dam construction plan. We will most certainly will not steal the land from you. Shut up, government dog! Are you trying to divide the village? No, he's just doing his job. Oh my god. Die, Hojo! You don't deserve to breathe the village air. Hold your breath and suffocate to death. Screw you, you old hag! I'll murder your ass. Step up front! Stay out of this, you fat pig! Very good. That was very good, Hojo. I haven't been this pissed off in so long. You'll get what you deserve. Look forward to it. Did she actually kill? Get him, Hojo! Oh, it's really interesting to see because we only ever heard that Hojo was the only. We only heard that Hojo was the one that was against it. We didn't hear that other people were also against it. I mean, against the Hinamizawans and the 3 families. The government has to provide us new jobs, shelter, and compensation. Hey, stop this violence! All of you, stop it! Stop it! Like hell, bring it on! Come and get some. I love picturing it. Everyone's being tainted with the bloody red anger. It's funny that the government officials are the ones not getting in a fight at this current predicament. And I can only watch. The least I can do is apologize for the tragedy that's about to happen. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is how things started. onward, the Hojo family and the Sonozaki family will wage a feud against each other, and the Hojo family will become ostracized within the village. Oh. This marks the beginning of Satoko and Satoshi's lives of tremendous hardship. But why didn't the other people, oh, because she didn't know who spoke up. It was just like people shouting, but Hojo's dad, or Satoko's dad was the one that she knew. And then they probably like, backed off from it. Satoko, self-owned, okay. Okay, well, we're gonna end that there. I think... okay. So they're not exactly labeled correctly. Like this one, I think is this one here. Like this one is probably this one. And then when we just did, it was a conflict between the family and yeah. So they're not exactly labeled correct. Like this one is labeled a local explanatory meeting, but it was the start of the conflict. Okay, but so I just wish it was like a more understandable order, but whatever. At least we know the ones at the end are the final ones here, so yeah, okay. But okay, that makes more sense. This is interesting. I mean, it's not really like a puzzle because you're just playing the fragments in different orders. But this is like kind of all the fragments that we haven't seen throughout the story so far. And it's like filling in the little pieces of information that we're missing, which is cool. Like Satoshi, like we don't really know what the fuck happened to him. And like seeing things from Hanyu's perspective is basically what we're doing right now, I believe. Anyway, so we're gonna exit and save that there, I think. Well, let me just make sure that it... Okay, good, perfect, okay. Alright, so we're gonna end that episode there. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's kind of cool, just like, it literally is connecting fragments, like fragments of things that we just don't have all the knowledge of yet. So yeah. Okay, well, thank you guys once again for watching. I will see you next time. Johnny.